This week, I was having a chat with Cindy. Cindy's from our youth. There's something God is doing on the Gold Coast over the young people. So Cindy, do you want to come up and share with us? So Cindy was sharing, you were leading worship at your school in a chapel, and what happened?
So I led chapel at my school, not the week that just passed, but the week before. But the week before that, we had a bit of like a revival in the middle school, and like everyone said that they were coming in and it was just going to be like, it felt like a normal gathering, which is like chapel, I guess. And so they came in and apparently just something felt different. Like people started crying during the service while they were listening to the worship songs. They were just bawling their eyes out and they didn't know why. And so they asked for an altar call, and about 300 middle school students went down to the front to get prayed for. And so they were down there, and for example, like Samuel, who comes to this church and is in kids' church, he said that he wanted to go down and get prayed for, but apparently couldn't even fit on the floor. Like he couldn't get down the staircase to go down and get prayed for. And there were kids like sobbing and weeping and like giving their life to God, and they like were getting saved. And so like the week after that, like my friend was so excited about it, and we were just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So I went to like the worship meeting like afterwards, and we like it was meant to end at 1:40, and we all stayed until 2:20, and we were all late to class, but that's okay. And then so the week after, we wanted to try and like do something with our gathering, like my SLC gathering, so grade 9 to grade 12. And so I was leading worship that morning with a couple other friends, and we had someone share the gospel, and somebody came up and he was talking about like what it's like to be saved, what it's like to be in like God's presence. And like while we were doing that, like we all just kind of started worshiping, and he had another altar call, and about 70 SLC students came down, and were just worshiping and crying and praising. And I remember like I was leading it, and I had to put the mic down because my voice was trembling so much that I could not sing. Like the Holy Spirit was just in the room, and I didn't know what to do. And so we all stayed there and we all prayed for each other. And then I went to class, and I came back to the MLC gathering because I saw my friend, who's school captain, standing there, and I went and I prayed with her. And I was like in the gathering with her. And I looked around and saw there was only like maybe 30 students who didn't have their hands raised in worship while they were doing worship. Like all maybe 300, 400 students just had their hands raised in worship. And I thought that was so cool, and it made me so happy because I was like, these are like the middle school students, like grade 5 to grade 8. Like this is the time where they're like, I don't know who I am, like I don't know my identity, and they're just trying to fit in. And it's the fact that now raising your hands in worship is the trend at my school. Like that's the new trend. It's not like, oh, I'm going to keep to myself, but like, yeah, I'm going to put my hand up and worship God, and I'm going to like scream and I'm going to pray. And it was so cool because we got to like sit there with them and just talk to them about God afterwards. Like whoever came down, they'd ask questions like, who is God? Like, why does he still love me even though I'm a sinner? And it's the fact that we can have these conversations with people now, like they're so open to it. And it's the beginning of the year. And so that means that there's so much room for like God to still work in. And my friend and I are so excited because at the end of last year, we were just praying and praying and praying together, hoping that our school sees revival, and we're starting to see God really blossom in that.
Amen. Thank you for sharing. And it's not just happening at the Cindy school, it's happening actually everywhere, all around the world. And I loved what Cindy just said. Did you hear the last bit? Her and the friends, and I'm sure there was others, were getting together praying.